up to the gate to go to the trail, and it seems I am at a stalemate at the moment.
They were all waiting here for you, saying, "No, Rob, not here."
Yeah, you got enough.
Out here at the Singing Horse Ranch, our entire house is heated by a wood furnace. So every year we come out and we cut down some of the dead standing trees to feed the wood furnace. So Rob came out to do that, and the horses were waiting right at the spot where he planned to cut some more trees. And they were basically saying to him, "Nope, you're done. You have enough wood. Don't cut any more trees this year." So he was incredibly amused. But of course, he listened to them, because here we listen to our horses, we listen to the land, we listen to the trees, we listen to everybody within the ecosystem. It's moving all the way back here. That's why you got to stand way, way back. So join me on this journey of learning about this facet of off-grid living and how we get our wood for the winter. And then we're also going to talk to some people about logging in British Columbia specifically, but really many parts of the world where deforestation is happening and government bureaucrats are running something that used to be done in quite a different way by small families. So we're going to get into that too. Yeah, they're dead. And the horses said, "No, not today. Not this year." This machine is called a skidder, and we are going to use this to go up into the forest and grab the trees that Rob has already cut down, but we can't get to them. We've got to get them down where we can chainsaw them up, and then we've got to get them down to the house. So that's what we're doing today. So somehow that skidder is going to make a trail through here. It's pretty dense. Can't even see where Steele and Rob have gone. There's the skidder down there. And it's going to create a kind of pathway road to get some of the dead trees that are up at the top here. We're going to fell them. We're going to cut them down and use them to heat the house this winter. So the only difficulty is getting to them and getting them down. And look at these beauties. Once again, we don't touch alive, living trees. These trees right in front of us, where the tops are flat off, like that one, and this one, they're dead. But when the tops are flat like that, it usually means the inside of the trunk is rotted, so it's no good for firewood anyway. So it's not just that the tree has to be dead, it has to be at the right stage of death for it to be good for firewood. This machine has the ability to go over this really rough terrain, and it also has this grapple hook where you can gather up the trees along with a winch that attaches to a bunch of trees and winds them in.
I'm just gonna have to pull from straight up through here, because if I go that way, it's a little too much of a side hill. Not only will I be a bit tippy, but the logs will slide into this whole area and could get tangled up, and it would just be a mess. And plus they're all quite broken up there, so they're gonna fall apart a little bit more. I just gotta have a straight shot down right on the other side of this birch right here.
Right.
And then I can take it all the way down. Oh.
We got it all going on. What do you got?
Yarrow.
Yarrow. I love it.
So that there is the stumps or the butts are going to be right here.
Oh, okay.
And then I'm going to make a big deck so that I can pick it up with the grapple and bring more.
All right, so we came through there. Down there's where the horses said no. And now we're up here, and Steele's making the path.
We've logged off all the tops, you know, like so much of where our watersheds come from now that we've already to a point where we've probably started to change the climate because this whole valley and the connecting valleys don't hold the same amount of water they used to. It all rushes out really quick, and now we're starting to get like a wet and a dry season when we just had a spring and summer. It's always kind of been like that, right? But we used to have creeks that flowed consistently, not rushing all out and then flowing down to a trickle and maybe dying off completely. We used to have a lot more water, and that would, and all that trees and all that shade, it cooled the whole valley, you know, and the water. And our climate has now already changed. I'd say the number one cause of climate change in BC is deforestation, 100%. Because then you're exposing all of these upper areas that are, you know, very rocky. I mean, they just generates more heat anyway, and it's kind of like it's a spiral effect almost. Like you keep logging, you overlog areas. It changes the climate of the area, the whole water, a lot of these trees on this hillside were really healthy, and they started to log up top too much, and so. If you know anything about the fir bark beetle, it bores into fir trees. And when it's boring in, if that tree is healthy enough and has enough water, it'll just pitch them out. They'll bore into a tree, they'll leave a scent on it that it's healthy, and they'll smell that a tree is healthy. And, you know, I mean, they're like blind, they're like ants. They go and they feel out the forest, and they, like water, go in the path of least resistance. And in this case, there is no water left, so the path of least resistance is far and wide like it never used to be, because these hillsides have drought and they cannot pitch out the beetle that they used to be able to pitch out. And so yes, we used to have root rot, and yes, used to have all these problems. The fir bark beetle's always been here.
Yeah. It's
only we've upset the balance, so now it's become what it is. It's flourishing too well.
What's he doing? Has he got a chain?
No, he is pulling the main line out, and there should be at least one choker on it.
Okay.
And then what they'll do is it's an easy wrap to hook onto the trees. And when he starts to pull ahead, it'll tighten up very much like a noose and be able to pull the trees down.
Oh, so the skidder drives forward and the winch does the work.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Well, the skidder will do the work once it gets it all pulled up even and grouped together, make sure it's not hooked on any stones.
Okay.
Then he's able to go. You really should close this down. It was almost once a day that we would have a close encounter, like close to getting squished or end up dying.
It looks like it's the highest risk profession.
That's what
Maybe
they
that
say.
and the oil rigs. It'd be hard to know which one would be worse. Maybe logging.
It depends really, I think, because every tree can kill you here, and I guess every pipe can kill you on an oil rig as well, but
Right.
I found excitement. I like cutting down the trees, the old ones and stuff. It's exciting for me. It's better than having them turn into a fire problem.
Yeah. I mean, you want a certain amount, like we see here, because this feeds the ecosystem of the forest. But too much?
Like the bug kill trees we're starting to get in here.
Yeah.
That'll be next year's firewood. They're not quite dead this year, but by next year they will be. There's a few more up here I was going to cut down, but I was told now by sources.
The horses told you, no, leave them. Maybe they'll let you cut them next year. Maybe they say they need another year.
Or I have enough.
Yes. So this tree that Rob felled Look how we got it right between the trees there. So none of these were damaged. That's impressive.
I did it once or twice before. I YouTubed it.
Yeah, no, that's someone who's logged a fair amount. Very nice.
Well, there's these scratchings in here. And then for my height compared to where it's rubbing.
Yeah, all the way up there. Grizzly. Is this the only 2 trees that's marked?
Really, yeah.
Huh. Where's the den that you found? That's the bear den?
Yeah. Was. It's been dead for a while.
This is not what I pictured a bear den looking like.
It's probably been empty a couple of 3-4 years probably.
So the opening would normally be bigger than that though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like this will be dug out right into about here, but they'll squeeze in. It would be right down and in and then under this mound.
And
Probably under a root pile or something.
how big would the den be? Can you walk the perimeter that you would expect it to be for inside the den?
From about a 5 or 6 foot around to however deciding the bear needs to have its den, really, or how big.
What's the biggest one you've seen?
I don't go into too many dens.
True.
This one's buried enough that I would go into it.
Wow.
This is another where a bear was rooting out for some grubs and goodies for lunch.
And what is that?
I have no fucking clue.
But it's impressive.
Right, and it's below a fir tree.
Yeah, fir tree.
Or what's left of it.
Oh yeah, it's falling. Okay, well, we'll look that up.
We have all of these resources, and we've only basically slowly, and now it's kind of picking up speed, but we've only really made the rich richer and the poor poorer here. Growing up, people could afford things and people could support their families, and we weren't taking as much.
Yeah, you have to wonder what happened.
Well, at the top they get richer.
Yeah.
They become giants. They become
Billionaires.
billionaires. Corporations become super powerful. The government likes to subsidize them, and then they kick back a little bit for each other. And I'm pretty sure the definition of fascism is government and industry in cooperation for community. But that's the trick in it. It's never for community. It's for their little community of corporate.
Yeah.
Everyone at the top. Have this.
That's called a choker?
Yeah, spliced wire. And it's a little thinner gauge than
Then the main wire.
the main line, yeah. And then
So
these are chokers, yeah.
you got 1 main and 4 chokers.
Yeah.
So you try to gather it up together like that.
Yeah.
It's moving all the way back here.
You said you have more over there?
Yeah, there's more up here. This way, because there's 2 right here. You can almost see them.
Yeah.
I don't know which way you want to go. If you want to take them straight down here. I don't know what the trail is like down there, because there's a trail that comes up to the water hole in the back.
Yeah.
Should be able to spout down on there. So it's fairly open.
When I'm done hauling the skids over there, this last skid, I'm just going to come down the skidder here. I'm going to back up. Just make one little skid trail, then funnel all this wood into that skid trail instead of coming across the hillside and wrecking all of that. We can just keep it simple.
Nice. So tell me what's wrong with what they're asking you to do in managing the woodlots, and how you, because you've selectively logged for the last 6 years, right? Just taking.
Yeah, I selectively logged, and I watched generations selectively log and what they do to the forest, and how much we had to leave on our waste assessments before, and how we've had to bundle up our jobs and have it so, you know, it can be peer reviewed. But nowadays, my problem is, especially with something like a woodlot, where you have to kind of manage it. You're managing it with the government, right? And the government wants so much every 5 years. It wants its quota. But what I just noticed now with the way like the Ministry of Forest is working, and just generally the industry, is we're going and we're chasing all of this fur bark beetle, which is the epidemic around here.
Yeah.
And we're doing these big giant cuts where I've been on the surveyor end of it too. They go and they try to take as much as they can of the healthy stuff when they do it, because I mean, it's all about money when it comes down to it. So they do these big giant cut blocks a lot of the time, and they used to leave a lot more organic matter
For the forest floor.
for the forest floor, for decomposition and everything like that. And I mean, and that can be viewed as fuel for a fire, right? But the thing is, if you take out a forest, say you log it all and you strip as much of that material as you can, clean everything up so it looks tidy,
Yeah.
and then even if you burn it, you're releasing most into the atmosphere, right? And I mean, sure, the burning helps with the soil and everything like that, but it doesn't do it the way Mother Nature would. You know, it doesn't. You don't have the full decomposition going back into the soil, and so that would be one thing. But since now we're stripping the soils, and it's getting a lot more tighter about how much waste and residue you can leave behind to decompose, we're cleaning up these cut blocks, dare I say a little too much, and then we're planting in quick growing pine. Basically, that's the majority of it is pine, so that we're focusing on the next bottom line on a spreadsheet, not the bottom line of the soil. And I don't know, I'm no expert. I'm definitely not an expert. I'm just an observer, and this is my opinion.
Yeah, but you're like what, second or third generation logger?
Oh, second generation, yeah.
Yeah, so you do have some experience from which to talk to. So, okay, let's say you were in charge of how these woodlots are managed that you have the license to. What would you do?
I wouldn't try to make everything into such quick, neat little boxes. Like, they want you to log and make this quick little, you know, log this area, clean it up, replant it.
With pine monoculture.
Yes, with pine monoculture, they'll add in a bit of fir and larch or whatever, but they want the fast-growing stuff. They're treating it like a plantation now. Our forests are turning into plantations like they are in Europe. After NAFTA set up and we started to monopolize all of the whole timber industry around here. We used to have, I don't know how many different types of mills. There was all these different types of ma and pa mills. There was all these small different logging contractors and everything. Now you got 5 mills, basically companies that own mills in British Columbia. And they wield the power like a feudal lord. They really do. They just do whatever they want, and they are supported by the government. It's a public-private partnership, but that doesn't.
So you're getting discouraged to the point where you're thinking about letting go or selling your woodlot license because you just don't want to be a part of it anymore.
And it's hard to watch because this was my backyard, and I watched the whole thing get sick and deforested, and then I've had to go up there and log places that I love, which is, you know, and I've got to do it the way I love, like with a chainsaw and a small line skidder and everything, and I've worked my way up to better pieces of equipment and everything. But the only way that I really feel like I want to log is where I get to do all the things like an old logger. And so I don't know, the only way forward for me being a logger, I think, is I can go get a job and I can go run skidder or whatever I need to do. But I don't know, that I'm kind of finicky, and the only way I see forward for me would probably be if I'm gonna log, I would maybe get a couple Clydesdales and do like tours and horse logging or something.
I hear ya.
you know. It's I am pretty discouraged. It's kind of tough to watch, and you feel powerless to do anything. Especially here in BC, we've been mismanaged really badly.
Yeah. Okay, so here he's got them laid out nice and parallel in a flat area so that he can then pick them up with the grapple hook and take them down closer to the house where we'll cut them up. So we're bringing all of the felled trees down to this nice flat area so it's easy to cut them up, and then it's also easy to take them down there to the house where we're going to put them in the woodshed. We finished bringing down the rest of the wood from up on the hillside, but there's also some more trees that Rob felled down the other end of the ranch. So it becomes really apparent why the horses showed up there and they were like, just stop. You have enough wood. It's okay. So then Steele also decided to take them from this flat area and bring them down even closer to the house so that when we chainsaw, we don't have that far to transport them before we pack them into the woodshed. So that's the next stage of the process. Lots of chainsawing, loading into a truck, carrying it down, stacking it into the woodshed. And gradually we want to see this woodshed completely full. The other cool thing we did with this woodshed is not only did we put a shelter off the back side of it, but we then added a dog run because with the lambs, we have one of the dogs especially that's not safe out with the babies. So we put this dog run, and instead of it being like a cage, a self-standing cage, which is what you often see for dog runs, the fact that it's part of a structure just kind of makes it more homey and less prison-like. And you can see that the door is open there, but Meg's gone in to lie down just because he likes it so much in there. So that was another cool thing that I wanted to share with you guys. And of course, everybody enjoys being down in this area close to the house and where everything's happening.